All right, everybody. It's Monday, y'all. So, too, Couch Critics. Last week we watched The Long Walk, had some differing perspectives. I kind of fell in the middle. Brad was a low graded tier. And then Freddie was the highest of us all. I think, what was it, Freddie? 3.75? Something like that? Yeah. 3.75. We did have some fans reach out with some harsh criticisms towards some reviews of The Long Walk. One dedicated viewer had mentioned that if you rated The Long Walk a low score, you've never gone through hardship in your life, and that you don't understand what it means to have a meaningful connection to someone. So, listen, Freddie, I think that we gave a fair grade. There was one person on this podcast that gave a seems like not so fair grade. So, Brad, any response that you have to that? Seems like strong
Yeah,
words from one of the viewers.
it is strong words. I feel like I have a lot of meaningful connections, so that was up. But I guess I didn't. I mean, like I said off the air, I haven't really struggled in life other than me making bonehead decisions. So it's on me. So I mean, it's probably a pretty fair perspective. But I don't know. I just thought it was an odd movie. Odd movie. I don't know.
Okay.
But hey,
All
I
right.
respect the opinion of the people.
That's what this is all about, right?
Absolutely.
We want to help facilitate the voice of the voiceless.
There you go. Absolutely.
Stole that from my friends at the Brilliantly Dumb Show. If you haven't listened to that, check it out. Pretty funny. But all
Oh
right,
my.
cool. This week we had the Gorge. So I had prefaced last week and I had said that, on Letterboxd, which of course is what we're looking at for the ratings, this movie had a little bit of a lower rating than The Long Walk. Brad, how about you give us your take? Let's see if you go ridiculously low again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I actually thought the movie was pretty good. Surprisingly, again, I love this concept that we're doing because it's getting me into movies that I would never pick. I would never just off the wall pick this movie and watch it. So, kind of because of this podcast, I'm going to watch it. I thought it was a really good movie. I'm a huge Miles Teller fan. Right, I loved him in Maverick 2. And obviously Anna Taylor, and I loved her in the Queen's Gambit. I thought that was a really good movie as well. And Freddie, you'll love this because obviously Freddie's a huge Taylor Swift person. I noticed a couple of Easter eggs in this movie. Couple of Easter eggs. One of them I thought was his predecessor when he took over in his station. That Bradley Shaw is his name, and actually, what his name in Maverick was Bradley Bradshaw. And then obviously the chess game between the two of them across the gorge, obviously referencing the Queen's Gambit. Overall, I have to say this movie, I would give it a 3.1. And I thought it was good because if you guys, this first time you're watching these or you're following me at all, I'm a big rom-com guy. I'm a sucker for a good love story. The Miles Teller love story, you love it. And I felt like you were on the edge of your seat the entire time. A little thrilling. You never knew what was going to come out of that gorge. I mean, the gorge itself was a little like, okay, but a little crazy. But overall, I thought it was a good watch. 3.1 is what I'm going to give it.
Think that's a fair rating. I think it is. So I'm glad to see. And also, too, Brad was glad to see that you were able to watch it while the family was away in Jackson. So that was good. So appreciate you setting aside time to prioritize the segment. Freddie, what do you got? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say I'm kind of in the same boat with Brad. I mean, action packed second half of the movie, obvious action packed the entire time. I am not into apocalyptic zombie type stuff like that, but with that being said, I still thought it was a good movie. I'm not. It's like it had three people in the movie, let's say, right? And Susan Sarandon had a small part, or right, or was it Susan Sarandon? Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney.
Yes, she had
I
like
had to look that up. I actually had to look that up because she looks older.
she had a very small part. Basically, a two-man show, or two-person show. Good movie. I mean, the concept was great. Again, like I said about the Long Walk, I like the concept. That they even threw a little Oppenheimer in there. So, like, a reference in there. So, like, I liked all that. With that being said, I'm going to go I'm right around Brad, actually. I'm going 3.3. I thought it was good. It was entertaining, to say the least. The bottom half of the whole movie was very active.
Sure. A little bit of a slow burn there at the beginning, right? So,
Yeah, because you were questioning, like, obviously, just like Miles Teller in the movie, you're like, wait, and then your head gets to a point. It's like, what if I had to be in a situation where I had no form of communication with anybody for an entire year? And the first thing I thought of was like, I thought Fred was gonna be like, I'm built for this.
Yeah. Now they had he had his radio call once a day or once a week?
No, it was every 30 days.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the first radio call, he was like, goes through, gives the number, yeah, everything's good. He wants to have a conversation, and they're just like,
Click.
oh, see you in 30 days. Like, wait, don't you want to talk about the weather or something?
Certainly gets quite lonely. I think that it's fair to say, like, once you see him go zip line across that gorge for the first time, it's pretty predictable to where you're like, okay, well, something's going to go wrong with this eventually. So I think that that's where, because if you look at Letterboxd, the movie gets a 2.9 out of 5, which is, obviously, a little bit above average. But I think that that's where the movie gets a lot of its criticism from, is it's kind of far out there. It's a little bit predictable to, like, obviously at some point they're going to fall into this gorge, right? So you can kind of see that. But I agree. I think that have two really good performances packed into this, right? So if you're at home and you're, with your significant other or watching by yourself, and you're like, what can I do for the next 2 hours and be entertained and be satisfied with what I just watched? This is a guarantee to me, right? You're going to get two good actors in Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, as they've both Brad and Freddie have talked about. And then in addition to that too as well, the second half is really going to ramp things up. So personally for me, I gave this a 4 out of 5 because my expectation here is not overdoing it, right? Like, this is, I think, was a Apple TV production, wasn't heavily marketed, came out of nowhere, and it was kind of one of those situations, at least when it came out, it was, what's this? I'm going to take a look and watch it, right? So it wasn't necessarily like big box office, um, ads everywhere, right? It was kind of on the low key side of it. When I did see it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the performances, and from an expectation standpoint, I think this movie is incredibly entertaining. Yeah, there's probably some predictableness to it, but I think that's okay because it ends the way that you kind of want it to end. So it hits on the rom-com side of it that satisfies people like Brad. And then, obviously it helps Freddie understand another place where maybe he can conquer a different position that probably nobody knew existed, right? So we have Landman, and now we have, what would we even call this position? Do we have, Freddie, you got a name for it?
It was like they were basically Gorge security.
Yeah. Yeah, Gorge security. There you go. All right.
Gorder.
I'm not,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, if you haven't already seen the movie, you should have saw it. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but the very end, when she's gone to shop and he's sitting out, like, that just warms the heart, man. Warms
Yeah.
the heart.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
for the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, a very nice ending, right? Because it kind of leaves off with, there's a lot of chaos taking place. You don't really know what's going to happen next. I'm sort of different from Brad, where I would have loved for him to not show up and the movie kind of just end at that point, because then that sort of adds a little bit of a kind of like a kick to the teeth there at the end for the viewer, right? Because I think that it's fair to say that everybody, for the most, I know I kind of just contradicted myself, but everybody's like predicting that he's going to show up and hoping that he does, right? But then to see him not show up, you kind of leave with like, oh, well, that was unexpected, and it would add a good twist. But I don't know if they're.
I wonder what the take of the viewer, more importantly, the viewer who had said that about
Yeah.
somebody with the lower weight, where I'm somebody that, like, I want love to win. Like, love wins. And you, unfortunately, Nolan, like, you wanted to see the demise of him. Like, what's the criticism there?
Listen, I think that it would add a nice element. I was happy to see him show back
Why do
up.
you hate love, Nolan?
No, I don't hate it, right? But from an entertainment standpoint, it would be entertaining for him to not show up. It would be. Because, like, listen here, Brad, there's 1,000 movies that I could give you where the guy shows up and sweeps her off her feet. You can find a bunch of movies where that's the case.
All fives.
Yeah, all fives. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I was gonna say for Freddie, he's not a big. We're not ever gonna watch World War Z on this, I guess, on this segment of this podcast due to that. And then for you, Brad, again, we're gonna go back to like The Devil Wears Prada or something of that sort. One point to kind of loosen things up a little bit. All right, cool, gentlemen. Any other thoughts on The Gorge? I think we kind of hit the nail on the head. Again, Apple TV. If you don't have a subscription to Apple TV, start a free subscription and then cancel it right after if you want.
Okay.
It's worth it for this movie, or pay $7 for the month to watch it and then watch all the other great stuff that Apple TV has too as well. All right.
Yeah, if you're gonna hit that free trial, you can hammer a lot in the couple days there.
I
Yeah,
Got
for a
some
lot.
good
there's not
shrinking.
there's really not a bad show on Apple TV.
No, no.
Platonic.
So
Silo,
Great
Rebecca
show.
Ferguson.
What's
Fantastic.
that?
Silo.
Rebecca Ferguson. Silo. It's on my list of top 10 shows all time. Worth
You
checking out.
boys watch anything else this week?
I'm looking forward to the Pit season 2 finale tonight, Thursday. Sorry, I know this is Thursday and it'll release on Friday. So the Pit season 2 finale will already be out. That drops tonight at 9 o'clock. So Freddie, I know you're a big fan of letting the show kind of play out so that you can just binge watch it all. Brad, I know that you've spoken about that, but I think that you tried to get into the Pit and couldn't. I
Yeah.
love that show.
I
Go ahead. Sorry.
Mary loves the Pit. I'm not into medical dramas. I don't like the hospital at all. Except I mean Nurse Jackie was cool, I guess. But other than that, I don't like anything in the hospital that takes place in a hospital.
Which is crazy because I do. I watched like the drama, the TV ones, like Grey's Anatomy. I watched Chicago Med. I love all these medical dramas, the shows, everything. I just could. Here's what I'm going to do, and it's both Sarah and I talked about this. I'm going to give the Pit another shot. There's more than one people. Like my daughter, who's highly recommends it, works in the hospital. I was like, dude, like that'd be like me going in and watching Flip This House. Like I just don't watch stuff like that. But she really liked it. You know what I mean? But it's a thing. People, when I show houses, people all the time, they're like, oh, don't you know Chip and Joanna? No, I don't know Chip and Joanna. I don't watch anything on those House Hunter shows.
Oh.
Like I don't want to.
You hang out with
But
the lady.
Daughter liked it.
You hang out with the lady from Michigan that just got canceled.
I don't even know. See,
Yes,
I don't
you
even know.
do. I forget what the name of the show is though. It's one of those
Oh.
flippers.
Check it out. I'll have to check it out. No, but I think I'm going to give it a second shot. My daughter liked it. A couple other people referenced it again. Obviously, you guys have both
I
said
just
that. Or at
finished
least
Paradise 2. Second season. Because like again,
do you watch it?
I have to wait until the season's over. So,
Respect. I get it.
but yeah, Paradise.
I'm not a show guy. I need to catch up on a lot of the shows, and it's going to be hard too with it getting into golf season. The movies are already starting to kind of take a little bit of a backseat. Never fully. Don't panic, people, right? But show-wise, I'm terrible at the shows. I mean, I used to be big on it, but now, I mean, I'm a 2-hour commit and get me out. So
Well, the nice part about it, when you wait until the very end, it's almost just like watching a show anyway. A series is basically a couple hours, but it's a good show, man. I really think you'd like it a lot.
yeah, I like a lot of the actors and actresses that are in it too. So I need to certainly check it out. I know that for a lot of folks, I don't know if any of you guys are into it, but I think Euphoria season 3 just dropped.
Awesome.
I've never seen it, but
No?
Freddie, if you want to talk,
I heard. I haven't watched it. Fred, you like it?
Yeah, one of the best shows on TV. Very, very great show. Now, they just dropped like the F1. So like I know there's a lot of talk about it. So that's the trouble with a show like Euphoria is waiting through the season. You're going to probably see a ton of shit. You just have to be careful about that when you're going through socials. That's all. But yeah, no, it's amazing.
I did watch the movie Is This Thing On the plane ride to Austin, Texas, by the way, with Will Arnett, Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper actually was the director of the movie. I thought the movie was really good. I thought the again, the rom-com, loved it. He, goes through a divorce, picks up a stand-up comedian, which I thought was awesome. I thought the whole premise of the show was really cool. I think Will Arnett is great. I just wasn't really excited about the ending of the way they ended it. And with that being said, I kind of give it like a 2.8. If we're going on our scale of 5, at 2.8, a little bit less than the Gorge, but the ending could have been. I think why I gave it such a low score, in my opinion, 2.8 is a really low score. I think the ending could have been so much better. I think you could have done so much more with it. But it is what it is.
Arrested Development kind of ruined Will Arnett for me. I think he's just really annoying in that show. If you guys have seen that.
Extremely annoying in that show, but that is a great show.
Extremely annoying. So I've kind of stayed away from anything that he's in, but I'll have to give it a shot. All right, cool. Any other shows, guys? Anything else on the Gorge?
Nope, I think we're good. What's on tap for next week, Nolan?
Yep. So to preface this again too as well. Right now, what we're doing as we sort of get into the mix with this is we haven't yet dove into in theater, which I think is working for us right now because a lot of these movies, we're talking about them, giving you a chance to watch them from home, and then we can kind of talk a little bit more freely rather than spoil it, right? So maybe next week we'll dive into the app movie scene and then we'll be a little bit more cautious because we have some really good movies coming out here over the next 2 weeks to wrap up April. But the movie that we're going to watch this week for next week is going to be the movie Together. So this is Dave Franco, another big star, and his wife, Alison Brie, big star in her right too as well. This is a 2025 movie. I think it's going to make Brad incredibly uncomfortable. This is
I feel like
about
that's all we've been doing while we pick these movies. But
well,
go ahead.
hey, listen, I picked a movie that was sort of a lot of action and had a rom-com element to it. This one, I mean, we'll let you both watch. So, again, this is a great movie. I enjoyed it very much. It is higher ranked on Letterboxd, if that means anything to anyone, than The Gorge was. It was, and so was The Long Walk I Took, I guess, which I see Brad shaking his head. But again, this is a great movie. I think that it's interesting, edge of your seat. You don't really know what's going to happen next. We just watched a movie that is predictable. This one is unpredictable. I think that it's a good one to take into the next step. Freddie, I think you're really going to enjoy it. And Brad, I cannot wait for you and Sarah to watch this together. It might be a good idea if Sarah's up for it to come on too. I know she's been a harsh critic of the last two. I would love to see her thoughts on the third one that we're going to watch here together.
I would have considered that an invite, and we could probably make that happen.
Would love that.
Especially if this movie bombs.
I mean, okay, fair enough. All right. Well, good. There we go. All right. So we talked a little bit about obviously The Gorge. I hope you check that out. If you haven't, I still recommend doing so, even though we talked pretty thoroughly about it. It's still a good watch. It's still something that'll keep you entertained for a couple of hours. So do recommend a couple of shows that were mentioned here that we recommend checking out in between. And then if you want to follow along with us, watch the Together by next Friday. And we'll make sure that we give our full thoughts and opinions on that too as well. So Freddie, Brad, anything you guys have here before we wrap up?
No, just hit like and subscribe. And we were off this week on it's Monday, y'all, but we will be back on Monday. And we're talking NBA playoffs and baseball. So looking forward to it. I'll see everybody on Monday. Take care, boys.
Like and subscribe.
You got it.